them all. Stand in their shoes, they're walking tall. The skills are balanced, stories unfold. And as we watch, truth will be told. Voices of justice, sound loud and clear. Voices of justice, you'll find the best here. You'll get a sneak peek behind the bench. Not what you're thinking or might expect. Judges and lawyers, officials too, here to tell their story to you. Voices of justice, sound loud and clear. Voices of justice, you'll find the best here. You'll get a sneak peek behind the bench. Not what you're thinking. Expect.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we are live. We are back. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. Let me tell you what, we've had a lot going on. We've had a whole lot going on. And today I thought, let's do a quiz. We're going to do a quiz like we used to do back in the olden days just a couple months ago. And we are going to have a blast doing it. It looks like it's dark here in the studio. Turn the light on. Sorry, my face is really close to you. Oh, there we go. Well, now it's too light. Nah, that's fine. Rather too light than too dark. Anyway, we're going to talk about the judges that we have interviewed here on the show. Do you know that as of today, every judge that has come on the show has come back for a second time? Yes, because we have a second Judge Rosie interview. We have a second Judge Simpson interview as of today, you all. I am so thrilled. And some of you might say, well, let me tell you what, we got something going on with Judge Rosie over there. People are chatting. And guess what? They were. And I reached out to her and I said, hey, Judge Rosie, what's going on? And we talked about it. You are going to be floored when you see that interview because it's not what you expect. We just talk about it. We just talked about the case that everyone was talking about, the thing that made everybody so agitated and mad. As a parent of special needs children and children with autism, I was a little concerned when I watched it, I'm not going to lie. So that's why I called her up. And it's funny that it's not at all what it looks like. And when you hear the whole story, you are going to be floored, and I cannot wait. Well, we're going to have to wait. I think another day. It's going to come out for my members tomorrow, though. So members will get Judge Rosie's interview tomorrow. You are going to get the story behind the scenes. Everybody else, well, you're going to get it the next day. And then we've got Judge Simpson, and we got a sneak peek. Oh, we got something else. We got some reverb along with a sneak peek. Anyway, sneak peek into Judge Simpson's quarters. He took us back there into his office. That was amazing. So the first interview we did, he was up there. It looked like he was up on this high thing on the bench. And today, he was just chilling, totally chilling. So it was amazing. So the first question in our quiz, we're going to do one every 5 minutes. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to do a little quiz, have a little fun, do a little dance, whatever. Anyway, which judge puts defendants in timeout? Oh, instead of holding them in contempt. Can't change that. It's already up there now. It says instead twice. True. You know what? It's late. I did it. Puts people in timeout. Whew, did you know? I mean, they're back there in a cell with everybody. Now, they're not in a cell with people, but they are in a cell adjacent to other people who are in the jail. And let me tell you, this timeout, it works because a lot of times people come back out in front of this judge. Whew, they are a totally different person. So I think it's kind of brilliant. But did you know you can hold someone in contempt of court in jail for 6 months? That's a long time. 6 months is a very long time. I think I'd rather be in the cell for 5 minutes and come back out again. That's what I think. Anyway, that judge is also going to come back to the show. How cool is this? You guys, everyone's coming back. Can I tell you something else? Well, I don't know if you remember Hillary Kane. She's an attorney. She was on here a month or two ago. She's going to end up coming back, I think, relatively regularly, at least every month or two, because she's A, beautiful, B, a great friend, and C, quite funny, and also brilliant when it comes to the law. She's going to be coming on, and she's going to be sharing things with us, which is really cool. And she is bringing me along to a bar association meeting, and we are going to hang out with a retired Supreme Court justice from the state. Well, I'll keep that part a secret. But anyway, we're going to a state bar association meeting. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk to a lot of different people in the judicial system, find out all kinds of stuff. That is coming up in July. So we got a couple months to wait for that, but we got plenty of things coming. All voices of justice, all judicial things, all the time. Now, what else did we do that didn't have to do with that? Well, I'm going to tell you after we answer the question. Nobody's answered the question, and so I'm going to tell you which judge puts defendants in timeout instead of holding them in contempt. It's Judge Stevens from Jefferson County, Texas. Yes, it is, because he does not play. Would not want to be in his court. Okay, so the next quiz is going to run for 5 minutes. We'll answer it at 9:25. Which judge likes to go four-wheeling in their spare time? Yes, out of the 5 that are on the picture from the thumbnail, which YouTube famous judge goes four-wheeling, preferably with his children? And yeah, I'll give you another hint a little bit further before we answer the question. Anyway, what have we been doing here? Well, let me tell you something. It's been nonstop. We put on this event. It was the 50 of the 50 Podcaster Awards. We had people from 4 different countries, 3 different continents win. We had people from all over the United States fly in. And because of that, we have found some people that are supporting our ventures who are going to help us put on this event next year. We're already planning. So if you're a YouTuber or a podcaster, or you'd like to be, reach out, because we got plans. We got big plans, and we're going to help you. If you haven't started yet, we're going to help you get started. And if you've started, well, you're going to have the party of a lifetime. And what if you haven't? Well, we'll put on some other kind of party and invite you to it too, because we don't want to leave anybody out. I'm very excited to share some things. But you know what? We're not going to bore people with that on this channel, because I know that's not really what you really want to hear about. You want to hear about judgy things. So the judge that likes to go four-wheeling in their spare time, we got to keep those bubbles moving, don't we? Are they not moving? Why are they not moving? There we go. Now they're moving. He likes to go four-wheeling with his adult children. There's a hint for you if you know which judge that we have interviewed there's a couple of them that have adult children. Which one is it? Some of them may or may not have children. Some of them have young children. We got all kinds of things going on here at this channel. And, I can't tell you how fun it is to get to know these people, these judges. They're really cool people. When I talked to Judge Simpson today, he was shocked that I wanted to interview him again and talk to him again. And it wasn't really, like quizzing, how did you start and all that kind of stuff. It was basically getting to know him as a person, because I feel like people have these, preconceived notions of the kind of people that become judges and their goals, and both on and off the bench. And I think you'd be surprised with what they're really like, because basically they're just people who want good for our judicial system and for our country, and they want to keep people safe. That's basically who they are. And getting to know them and their personalities has been really, really interesting. And I have to say, I like all of them. I really do. They're just genuinely great peeps. So, all right, we're about to answer this question. Which judge likes to go four-wheeling in their spare time with their adult children? Who is that? It is a judge we have interviewed here on the channel. You would have learned that. And it's a judge that is YouTube famous. Who knew that there was YouTube famous judges? Well, you did, because you like watching them. And so there we go. All right. You ready? It's almost time for the big reveal. It is somebody that I have interviewed in the last 7 days. There's your second hint. And it's 9:25, so I can tell you it's Judge Simpson. It is. Dave, you can answer these questions if you want, although Dave is tired and he may not last through the whole thing. And that is okay too, because he did a lot today, and also made us salmon dinner with asparagus and sweet potatoes. Nobody makes sweet potatoes like Dave. I got to tell you what. He has got the patience of a saint for a lot of things, and one of them is sweet potatoes. Anyway, so good. I'm sure not heart healthy and calorie friendly, but so very tasty. Also, I realize there's something going on with these pictures that I want to change a little bit, but maybe I can't. There we go. All right. Next question. Who? Well, really, apparently, the grammar thing was not working when I was making these slides because, there's a lot of mistakes on there. You know what? It's just one of those kind of days. I'm not going to stress over it. So, who worked making donuts in the early morning when they went to law school or college at some point? Probably that should have been college. But who made donuts before they were a lawyer and then a judge? There's only one person out of the 5 that we have talked to on this channel. We're going to talk to a lot more than 5 when we go to that bar convention. Let me tell you what, I am so excited about that. I'm going to set up some kind of a booth where we can just have people come in and interview them. Because if there's one thing I've learned, it is that people in the judicial system and elected officials do like to chit-chat on a microphone. Probably more than I do, which is saying a lot because I like a lot of the chit-chat on the microphone. Anyway, so who worked, that's so funny, who worked making donuts in college, supporting themselves while they went to law school. And I forget how much they made, and I want to say it was 60 cents an hour. Something like that. Because I told them how much I had made as a teenager, and they're like, no. It wasn't even $1 an hour making these donuts. They had to get up super early because, you got to make up donuts so super early so people can get them on the way to work or whatever. And yeah, that's what they did. So who was that? That is the question of the hour. So what have you been doing? I tell you what I've been doing. I've been in the hospital. My daughter had surgery, and meaning me, spent a few days there. Well, she spent a few days there. It was a little touch and go for a while. She is doing great now. Got up and walked to the kitchen today, which was the first time she's been there since, well, almost a week ago. True story. But she's doing really well because, kids, teens, whatever. They're strong. They can take all kinds of stuff. So, and boy, did they give her all kinds of stuff to take. Let me tell you what, it was a lot. And it felt so good to come home and be in my own bed after all that, because sleeping on the cot in the hospital is not, well, comfortable or my favorite. Just going to say, but highly worth it to be with your child. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Ooh. So I clicked on this YouTube thing and it said view in live control room. Apparently, there's a live control room here for the tubes. That's really interesting, I think. I know you may not, whatever, but I didn't know this existed. Oh, Feisty. Hey, how's it going? You finished your exams and passed. Feisty loves cats. Okay, so you came, I want to say, from Kenya to Texas, right? And congratulations. That is very exciting. Yes, from Kenya, moved to Texas. Ha! I got it. That is so exciting. I'm very happy that you're here. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. So we're doing a quiz about the judges that I've interviewed. So there's only 5 judges. This isn't like every judge ever. But one of the judges, it's out of Judge Stevens or Judge Fleischer or Judge Simpson or Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez or Judge Boyd. Now, what I should have said is which judge on here is highly controversial right now. Also interviewed that person, and we'll talk about them later. But it is 1 minute from the big reveal about the donuts. So, Feisty Love Cats, I don't know if you've got a whole bunch of scholarships or you don't need to worry about money for college. There's a lot of kids set up that way, and that is very cool. But it can be expensive. And so this judge, yeah, he made donuts. Made the donuts, and it's less than $1 an hour. Because back in the day, oh my gosh, I had a friend in LA, and she was obviously a lot older than me. But when she bought her house, their house payment was supposed to be $55 a month. And when they sat down at closing, it was $58 a month, and they about died because they couldn't afford it. I can't even imagine $58 a month. And it was a nice house in a nice area. Crazy. All right. It was Judge Stevens who worked making the donuts in the early morning when he went to law school. Yeah, he's a hard little worker bee. And then he did it, and he went to law school. Never going to have to make donuts again. I guarantee you that. All right. Which judge enjoys playing Fortnite with their children? You know who this judge is? We've interviewed them here. I can tell you right now, they are very popular here on YouTube. This judge, yeah, a lot of people like this judge. Let's see. Feisty, do you know who this is? Not a lot of judges that are gamers. You have a grant. Ooh, you have a grant. That's very cool. Grants are good because you don't have to pay them back. Loans you got to pay back, but grants, they're very nice, especially for law school. So my daughter-in-law is about to graduate from law school next month. Dave, can you believe that's next month? I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. Our babies are growing up. And Feisty Loves Cats is here doing the stuff and exams. I can't believe you're here. I remember before you were going to come here. That's so cool. Yeah, we should talk. I would love to get, you know what? You should come live with me and we can do some kind of quiz about law school terms or something like that. It doesn't have to be anything like controversial or whatever, because I know when you're in law school, you don't want to talk about anything that would be whatever for later. That is very important. But yeah, we could do it. We could chit and we could chat. Yeah, what judge likes playing Fortnite? It's a judge that's really into their kids, which is, I think, awesome. Because really, if you're not going to be into your kids, where are you having the kids? That's what I say. Anyway, yeah. So Dave, put the Discord in there. And Feisty, we can talk because you're in Texas. You're only an hour behind me. We can totally make that happen. And we'll do a Zoom thing or something. We can do that. You have an accent. Okay, I love the fact that you have an accent. Love it. Not a problem. Even if it's a heavy accent, not a problem at all. Here's why. I don't want it to just be me here on this channel. I want it to be all kinds of people from all over the world here. So I want to talk about judicial systems everywhere with all kinds of people. I've got another lady that I'm trying to get to come on here who is from Vietnam, who is concerned about her accent. But she's not even in the judicial system. I just want people to hear from her because she's so inspiring to me. Because she actually owns a nail salon, but she has built it into this like epic, crazy thing that is incredible. And yeah, so don't think twice about the accent. I think it's awesome, and everybody else will love it. And those who don't, Dave will kick off the stream. So it's a win-win for all of us. There we go. I think that'd be fun because we could talk about like Kenya, like what's different in the laws in Kenya and here. Last week, I had a friend of mine on who actually got his master's in some kind of government, I wish I could remember, thing in Russia. He spent 3 years in Russia going to university. And yeah, he's American, but he went there. And that was very fascinating. And so, yeah, I think we'll like it. Southern Kenyan accent. My mom is from, oh, wow. Oh, that's so cool. Your mom's from Tennessee. Really? That is so cool. Wow. You got all kinds of things you can share with us. I think that sounds amazing. So definitely need to do that. Let's see what else. Oh, we got a quiz here. What judge likes playing Fortnite with their children? Well, we have only had how many judges that have young children? Okay, this many. And if you know who this judge is, you're going to get this question right. Oh, the little sparkles stop sparkling. I like those little bubbly things, the little red things. I think they look nice, and I can't play it, though. It's like, nope, not playing. So, which judge is it? We have in 1 minute, I get to tell everybody. If you think you know, put it in the chat. And so we lived in Tennessee, Feisty. I got to tell you, we moved here from Franklin, Tennessee in 2019. Right before the world went sideways, and we moved here and knew nobody. And so for a few years, we knew nobody for the most part. I mean, a few people, but we didn't get to see them very often because, it is what it is. So, but now we do. We know some very cool people. And now we know people from all over the world, which is really awesome, like you. So when you finish law school, are you going to go back to Kenya or are you going to stay here and practice law? And do you have family in Tennessee? Now I have so many questions. And then we have the one guy from India that's going to come on the show. And you know what? I forgot to reach back out to him. He needs to do that too. Yeah, we got a good lineup of people coming. Really like the idea of people coming from all over the world, though. Yeah, so it's awesome. And, Yeah, accents are good. We need lots of different kinds of people. Because it's called the Jen Hardy Show, but it doesn't need to just be about me. So we gotta bring other people here and share all this stuff. Okay, it is 9:35, which means we can say which judge, and would be a YouTube famous judge, right? All these judges. This isn't like any judge in the world. It is Judge Fleischer, who enjoys playing Fortnite with his children. If he could just do anything in the world and never do anything else, it would be playing Fortnite with his children because he loves it that much. So there we go. Which judge was told they couldn't use their pen and mouse pad on the bench? In fact, there was a lawsuit trying to take away their right to use, among other things, their pen and mouse pad that no one could see on the bench when they first got elected. There were other bigger things involved in that, but yeah, it's kind of a thing. This judge has she's had some things going on. Oh man, I just gave you a hint. Anyway, who was it? You guys can guess, except Dave. Dave can't guess. Oh, and you knew it. Stuck like Chuck. That's right. Your great grandma's in Tennessee, in Memphis. Very cool. Very cool. You know, we never made it to Memphis. We got what is it called? Elvis's house is in Memphis. Why can't I think what that is? Dave, do you remember what the name of that is? What's the name of Elvis's house? So I'm trying to fix this thing. It's being weird colors. I don't know what's going on. We got purple. We got red. Purple and red don't go together. There we go. Okay. Anyway. All right, Feisty. Yeah, stuck like Chuck. So, okay. Now, I just totally, took a little brain vacation for just 1 second. Did I tell you? I don't know if you were here, Feisty, when I was talking about my daughter being in the hospital. So she had surgery. It was planned. Graceland, thank you very much. It was planned. We knew she was going. We just didn't know. Good God, what is happening? We just didn't know that it was going to be a little whatever. Graceland, it got sold. They sold Graceland? How is that a thing? Okay. You just started with Judge Boyd. Oh, she's amazing, isn't she? I love her very much. She was the first judge that I interviewed. Actually, she got this whole thing started. She's been back on once. I've interviewed her twice. Yeah, so anyway, yeah, she's pretty amazing. They're all amazing though, aren't they? I feel like anybody that's willing to be in the public eye and, do all that stuff is, at least they all start with goodness, right? That's what yeah. And, I always thought the judges basically put people in jail. That is not their basic job. They unfortunately have to do that sometimes, but it is not the goal, or what they normally do most of the time. So, as you know, so Feisty, you're going to become a lawyer because you're going to law school. Eventually, do you want to become a judge, or do you think you stay lawyer, or are you just not sure yet? I guess that all has to depend on where you're going. Are you going back there? Are you staying here? I have so many questions. This is very exciting. Law school is a commitment. I mean, it's a lot of a commitment. So that's really cool. Yeah. All right. Which judge was told they couldn't use their pen and mouse pad on the bench? That had to do with a bigger story because there was a big thing that they were being sued over because people didn't want them to use this big thing in the courtroom. And the judge was like, hey, I would have said no to the big thing, but because you added all the other little things in it, this is now personal. Because if you're going to tell me I can't use my pen and my mouse pad and whatever, and that just sounds more personal. Am I right? So, yeah. So they fought it and they won. The judge won, as they should have, honestly, because really, nobody can see the pen and the mouse pad, man. There was no point for doing that. So anyway, which judge was it? Okay, it's the judge I re-interviewed last week. The judge with the scandal, but that's not really a scandal because you got to watch the interview. Big family, youngest of 13, and your brother is a judge in Kenya. Oh my gosh, so my dad had 13 kids in his family, by the way. We have 7, which is pretty large for today's day and age. And that is so cool. The youngest of 13. Wow. So I bet people treat you very special, and you probably get away with more than anybody else in your family did. Am I right? Oh my gosh, because that's what happens. So anyway, that's really cool. All right. So it was Judge Rosie that was told she couldn't use her pen and her mouse pad. Long story was Judge Rosie was gifted a pride flag from the LGBTQ group, a group that was there. And all she wanted to do was put it outside her courtroom one day, her first day. And they said, no, that's not going to be anywhere near that courtroom. And not only not the flag, but also not your mouse pad, not your pen, not she had been gifted a judge's robe from a Native American group, and there was a small little piping with colors around it. They made an assumption that that was a pride thing, and they wouldn't even let her wear the robe. And she's like, no, guys, fighting it, and she won, as she should have. Because it just got really personal real fast, and so yeah, that's why she couldn't. That's why she was told she couldn't, but she did. So, and Feisty Loves Cats here in the chat is a twin, and you're identical. She's 1 minute before you. That is so cool. Is she going to law school, and is she here in the United States? Inquiring minds want to know. So for those of you who had just joined us, we're doing a judge quiz. Now, these judges are YouTube judges. These aren't just any random judges in the United States. Next question is, who decided to be a judge because they had been shot in the eye? I'm going to tell you that story in just a second because we got Feisty over here. Oh my gosh. So Feisty's twin used to always say during their birthday, when I was your age, because they were 1 minute ahead. That's hysterical, actually. Okay. So who decided to be a judge because they had been shot in the eye? Now, I'm not going to answer the question because you got to answer the question. But here's the story. This person, when they were 13, was shot in the eye with a pellet. Like full on, pellet, not, but shot. And all their parents wanted was an apology. That's all they wanted. They didn't want to sue them. They didn't want to do any of that. They just were like, hey, can you have your kid tell my kid, hey, we're sorry for shooting him in the eye. My kid needs surgery. It's all this expense, whatever. And the other family's like, no, he was nowhere around. It was clear that he was there. And then the family was like, well, guess what? If you're not going to cop to it and just give us an apology, we're going to sue you then. And they did. And it turns out that the lawyer they hired was so inspirational to this young person who had been shot in the eye. They said, you know what? I want to be a lawyer just like that guy. And then they went to court. And the judge saw this kid, and he was an upstanding, great kid, as he is an upstanding, great judge. And the judge said, hey, he talked to him and did all this stuff. And then the kid's like, well, I'm not just going to be an attorney. I'm going to be a judge one day. And he was. What? So which judge was that? A judge that I've interviewed here on this channel, a judge that I have interviewed more than once, which is every judge that I've interviewed on the channel, but somebody that I just recently talked to. And if you're just joining us on the stream, you might not know who that is. But if for those of you who have been here for a few minutes, you may know. Who did we just interview very, very recently? It was this guy. All right, now listen, this red and purple thing is driving me crazy. Can you see that? I'm trying to move it around, and it's just, I'm not a fan of red and purple together. I'm not. So there we go. All right, done with that. Done with playing around with that. Who had been shot in the eye? We got 1 more minute before I can answer. Does anybody have the answer? To which YouTube famous judge? Yeah. And ended up befriending the attorney and the judge. And when they grew up, became those things. I feel like that's just an American dream kind of story right there. It takes in the bad, and then you're like, nope, flipping that story, turn it into a good one, becoming a judge. Now, who knows where the person with that, the offense is? Probably not being a judge. I'm just saying, if you're going to start out like that, probably didn't go very far up the ladder, would be my guess. I don't know. But knowing this judge, they would still love that person and hope that they did, because they're just a great person. It's nice when people are good people. There's not a lot of great people out there. I'm sure you're a great person. And probably your friends are great people. But you know the other guys. Yeah. We've met some of them lately. Not fans. Lots of great people, though. So many great people. Had people fly in from all over the country to come to my party. That was fun. A little unexpected, but also very, very fun. Yeah, we're going to have an epic party next year. All right. Who decided to be a judge? And now that we're talking YouTube judges, guys, who's YouTube famous judge that decided to be one because they had been shot with a pellet in the eye? And that would be Judge Simpson. Just interviewed him again today. Totally different interview than last time. Like I was saying, last time he was sitting on the bench and the camera was all angled and stuff, and he looks all. Rrr. Today he's just chilling in his office. And I really like the vibe of that. I think you're going to like the vibe of that. That one's coming out next week because this week we got a controversial interview of epic proportion because we have Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez. Those of you who don't know, she had a young autistic man in her court, and boy, did that go viral. 2 million views overnight on TikTok, and she's getting all kinds of the threats and all kinds of nastiness. So I reached out to her and I was like, Rosie, because, we're friends. Like, she sent me a Christmas card and everything. Like, I'm like, Rosie, what's up? I got kids with autism. This is not very cool. And she's like, are you kidding me, Jen? You're going to be like all those other people? And I'm like, what? And she's like, we need to talk. And we did. And then she came and told the story, which members will see tomorrow. Everyone else will see the day after tomorrow, which I believe is Thursday. They're blended together. I'm telling you. Yeah, just joining us. Daughter just got out of the hospital after a several-day stint. And, that's why they're blending together, because I have not slept in a very long time, more than 2 hours, and my body's a little pooped, and so is my brain. So anyway, all right, new question. These are for YouTube famous judges, not just any random judge. Which YouTube judge provided over good night? Apparently, I couldn't spell this evening when I made these things out. He provided nothing but presided over what is called the case of the century in the 1990s. No, we're not talking about the O.J. Simpson case. Sorry. No, I believe it was Dan Rather who was at this one who called it the case of the century. And yeah, not a famous person trial, just a big trial, very big trial for the time. This judge actually came and told us all the details, which we then had to edit out because I don't think YouTube would let us share them over and over. They were pretty intense. And then what happened at the courthouse was intense. There was a lot of stuff that were intense that had to do with this. So this judge, which one presided, not provided, come on, Jen, over the case of the century in the 90s. I'll give you a hint. This judge is in Texas. That's all the hint I'm going to give you, though. So, yeah, I'll give you another hint. Nope, I'll wait 1 minute, and then I'll give you another hint. So, we are going to be going live Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to have some quizzes like this. We're going to have some people come on. We got some really, really epic things. We got people coming on from other countries to talk about what they're doing, trying to get the High Court of Orissa. It's a court in India. They live stream their court. There is a female judge on there that I would love to get, or one of the male judges. I'm not going to be picky. So if you all know somebody that's on that high court or somebody that works at that court, let me know, because you know what? We are going to go global with this thing. We are going to bring in justice from around the world, and it's going to be epic because it's interesting to watch our own judicial system. We all need to know, but personally, I think we need to find out about places all over the world and find out, what do they do? What are their standards? What are their punishments? What are their whatever? Like, do they have drug court? Do they have, the different things like Reflejo Court that we have at Judge Rosie has in Texas and all that stuff? I learned a lot about that over in our last chit chat. And yeah, all right, let's see. We're 1 minute away from which judge presided over what's called the case of the century in the 90s. You may have never heard of this case, but it was in the national news. It was headlines all over. I'm not talking Simpson, also in the 90s. Honestly, I would probably call that one the case of, at least the decade. But famous news people called this one that. So that's what we're going with, because that's the judge we got here. Now, if we could get Judge Lance Ito on the show, I would do that. I've actually reached out. He is not doing interviews, nor has he ever done interviews ever since the Simpson case, for what are probably pretty clear reasons, I would assume. Because, there was a lot going on with that. That was the first court case that I watched, like every single minute. It seemed to be pretty clear what the answer was. And not everybody thought so, like the jury. Okay, The judge that presided over what was the case of the century in the 90s was Judge Stevens. True story. If you go back to the live stream where he was here, yeah, he'll tell you all about it. Now, this next one, this may shock you. Which YouTube judge was recently featured in a New York Times article? Let me tell you something about this. The New York Times found this judge and they said, hey, we would like to follow you around for a year to write one article about you. And they did. They followed this judge around for a solid year and then wrote an article that recently came out and 11 million people read it. That's a lot of millions of peoples. And not going to be the judge you think it is. I guarantee it's probably going to be the judge you feel it's least likely to be. So we got Judge Boyd, we got Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez, Judge Stevens, Judge Simpson, and Judge Fleischer, who had the New York Times follow them around at work and then write an article that 11 million people read. I'd love to know what you think. Yeah, I really would. Because otherwise, I'm just sitting here by myself, and that's no fun. Tell me what you're doing tonight. I am very interested in finding out, as long as it's a G-rated thing that you can share with us, because that is important to me because we're a family company. All right, Feisty Loves Cats says it is Judge Boyd. Hardy, what do you think? Dave Hardy is out there. We got some other people. Who do you guys think? Which judge was recently featured in a New York Times interview? Article, whatever. 11 million people. Yeah. Let me tell you. Let's talk about Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez for a minute, because I think that this is fascinating. So there was a case. Dave says it's Judge Rosie. All right, let's see who it is at 9:55. So here's what happened. Judge Rosie fights for women and children, all and families. Like, she set up the Reflejo court so that people, first-time abusers, people who are abusing other people, they can go to court. Once you've been doing it more than once, they're not letting you in. And they have 27 out of 28 success rate, which is pretty big. It's not a big court, but it's a whatever. If I said, because you are eating fufu, I have not had it, but I'm very interested. Although maybe I did. Okay. So we had somebody over that was from Africa, and Dave made something. Dave, is that what you made? It was really good. Tell me about it. Tell me, Feisty, what is in this? What does it taste like? Dave made this thing, and they were these things, and then it was a multi-step process, and he did it, but guess what we did? We both remembered wrong what country this gentleman was from in Africa, because we just both did that. So we made him something to remind him of home, and then we got the wrong home, which is, well, yeah, I don't know. That may have been what it was. But anyway, all right. Which judge was featured in a New York Times article? Anyway, so we started talking about Judge Rosie. So here's the thing. Judge Rosie Speedlin Gonzalez had an autistic man in her court. She was agitated with this fact and was speaking somewhat seriously with a not smiley face. And it appeared as though she was just going off on this guy and not being herself, because she's usually really great with women and children and families. And which is why I reached out to her, and I'm like, Rosie, you want to come on, maybe apologize or something? Let me tell you something. Sometimes before we rush to judgment, we need to take a step back and think, is that really something that seems like the person would do? Because it wasn't. And there is a whole story behind it. It's like dough but sticky. Yes, Feisty. Dave made that for our friend, and it was really good, and I really liked it, but it is a time-consuming process to make it, I believe. It took him a while, but it is really good. Yeah, the sticky, and it's like white sticky dough stuff, and like you use it to eat other things. That is what he made. Because I believe we thought this person was from Kenya and they were from another country. It is a whole process. Yep, that's what he did. I mean, he spent like, I want to say a couple hours making that stuff. We liked it. The gentleman didn't, because he was a little agitated that we remembered the wrong country. Because yes, we do know that Africa is not a country. There are many countries there. We just both remembered the wrong one. So Yeah, Dave. If Dave is still awake, he'll chime in a minute. He was very tired. So, like I said, daughter was not well in the hospital, and yeah, we're gonna sleep now. Now that she's home and okay, walking around a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. So it takes an hour, yeah, to make. Yeah, it's good stuff though. A lot of people in Africa eat it. Yeah, well, apparently not the people from the country that this gentleman was from. So, yeah, he wasn't as impressed with it as he could have been. It was actually, we got their country right. Kind of important to do. So, anyway, well, we're at time. Which judge was recently featured in a New York Times article? It was Judge Rosie. They followed her around for a solid year. Oh, you're here and tired. Okay. Dave, was it called fufu, that stuff that you made? Remember the African stuff? It was really good. We loved it, and we just got the country wrong. Okay, I'll stop saying that. All right, moving on. Judge quiz. Okay, which judge's specialty court won Court of the Year from their state bar association? Ooh, these specialty courts are so interesting to me because it's not like court where you go in and you're a defendant and you're standing there and doing it. It's, I don't know what to call it. It's not what I consider a court, but it's what they consider a court, and that's what matters, right? Anyway, this one is pretty good. It's got a very high success rate. It's actually, the person who runs it is someone who was formerly incarcerated, and so they understand what these people are going through and genuinely want to help them. Really incredible. Speaking of this, I got to tell you what, Ghana. Yes, he is from Ghana. Yeah. Kenya, Ghana. They don't sound the same. I don't know what we were thinking. Messed it up. Okay. So in May, here on the channel, not live because it could go sideways, and I'm recording it because I'm not that brave, but we'll do it as a premiere. We'll talk about it together while we watch it together. I am going to have a round table discussion. It's going to be pretty epic. One of the judges is going to get me some people. Oh my goodness, I'm yawning because it's late. I'm so sorry. One of the judges is going to get me some people to be on it, and then I'm going to bring some people to be on it. It is a varied crowd. It is a very varied crowd. They are not a bunch of people that look like me, which I like because we're going to have lots of different opinions. They have different political ideas, different family setups, different everything. And so we're all going to get together and we're going to show how, even though we look so different on the outside and with our ideals, we're all human and we're very similar on the inside. We are going to talk about some serious topics. We're going to do some things. We're going to have two judges, a newspaper reporter, maybe an attorney, I don't know, and a teacher, just a bunch of different kinds of people. I'm going to be in there. What am I? I don't know. I don't know how I fit in with that, but it's going to be interesting. Feisty has 29 animals at their home. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of animals. We used to have pretty close to that, I think, if you count all the chickens. Oh goodness. I am yawning on the stream. That's not a good sign, y'all. It's not good. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I'm just hospital, man. Hospital. I was in the hospital for whatever with my kid, and it was exhausting. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm at the hospital with somebody, I'm keeping my eyes open because they don't always pay attention. So there was a point at like 4 a.m. where I had to go to the nurse and say, so at what point are we going to be concerned about this thing? And then they were like, oh yeah, we're going to do this thing stat to check on that. Yeah, well, how about we watch the monitors? I'm just saying, like, shouldn't be mom, should it? Yeah, I mean, I should be able to see them, but somebody should be over this and not me. That's what I'm saying. It worked though. They brought somebody, they took care of things. But anyway, all right. Which judge's specialty court won Court of the Year from their state bar association? Y'all, I'm going to tell you in 1 minute. What would you name the tiger cub? I would name it. Oh, that's so sweet. Just got a new tiger cub. Wow, that is really cool. So one of my friends, when I was growing up, Native American, and they were allowed to have like a bobcat in their backyard. Yeah, they did. It was chained up, and they had the cat. because here people aren't allowed to have big cats, but Native Americans, certain situations could apparently. I don't know. Yeah, we go play in the backyard and there's this huge cat chained up. That was the thing. So is it like that for you? Because it's beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Kind of like living here with the sharks, right? I mean, they're beautiful, except they're swimming freely with us. At least the cats are not. Okay. Which judge's specialty court won court of the year for the state bar? It was Judge Rosie's. Why am I talking about her so much? Well, because I just interviewed her last week. Number 2, that girl got a bad rap, guys. She got a bad rap. And now she's getting all these threats. It's ugly. It's really ugly. And yeah, man, bullying does not stop when you leave school. Also, it's illegal to threaten judges. God, don't threaten judges. Don't do that. No, I mean, I know you're not, but like the other guy, don't threaten the judges. There's a lot of threatening of judges going on. I've been talking to these judges. Y'all, ever since this whole defund the police thing happened, there's like no respect for the judicial system. People are going crazy with the judging thing. Whew, you can't do it. It's not legal. You're going to get in trouble. They may be sitting back, kind of like when people steal from Walmart. Did you know about this? People steal from Walmart and they let you, and they let you, and they let you until it becomes a felony. Yeah, and then they've got all the times you did it on tape, and then you go into jail. That's what they do. So, yeah, don't do the things that would lead to jail. That's a lesson. Okay, judge quiz question. Why do all the judges say that they live stream on YouTube? They all say it's for the same reason. Why is it that they do that? A lot of people don't like it. The defendants don't like it. The defendants' lawyers don't like it. So why are they doing it? It's important. It's important to know, because every time I tell people that we interview judges that are on YouTube, they're like, how is that even legal, right? Especially people from other countries. But yeah, I feel like giving an opinion would be silly. I interview them. So you can guess what my opinion on that is. Let's see. Feisty says it's education. That's why all the judges say they live stream on YouTube. Is it? Or does somebody say something else? Good question. Yeah. So one of these judges has been all over the place, like in the New York Times and on TV and all these different things. It's interesting how the YouTube thing has picked up their social life a little bit. And to be quite honest, I don't think that was the intent. I believe that in the beginning, when in the 2020 era, if you know what I mean, I still don't say those words on my channel, because you just never do know. But I'm looking at a tablet. I don't think that's my big tablet that I was missing, but now I got to look at it because, guys, I lost my iPad Pro at this event that I had, and that is not it. And it really sucks. Like, it's a nice one. It's got the Pro Pencil. It's got my name engraved on it. But it's an iPad Pro, man. And I just found out how to use some stuff so I can use it. We can't find it. Not okay. But also, there's a hot mess in here, because when you have an event for 100 and something people, and then you provide all the things for that event, you got to bring it home. And now it's all sitting right over there. So this looks pretty. And I got my blue birds. I got my little sign. I got my new camera that makes me look like an Oompa Loompa. Working on that, guys. I'm working on it. I don't know how to use it yet. Okay. So why do all the judges say they live stream on YouTube? Feisty says education. Do you think that's right? It's almost an F5. She's right. It is education. All of them started during the great whatever of 2020. You all know what I'm talking about. And they all thought that it wasn't right that people can watch court, because in our country, the rules say that the courts have to be open to the people at all times. You cannot close them off, even in a pandemic, and say people can't come in, because it's the law. So some people didn't want people to come in, and they didn't let them, and nobody fought them on it, because also half the world was shut down. All the world was shut down. But it still needs to be open. And so it just kind of continued, because they've realized people are learning things. Other people are upset about it. How would you feel if you were a defendant? Would you want there to be a camera in there and people clipping up the different parts of it that made you look the worst and putting them together and putting it out there on TikTok and YouTube and wherever? I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't like it if it was me. So I'm not judging the people that do it. I mean, they do it. People watch it. That is how I found all the judges and how I started in the beginning, because I started watching it. I'm just concerned when things get, tough, like rough, like words matter. They do. They do. I'll just leave it at that. Words absolutely matter. So how we talk to people and about people and all that. Even if we think they're guilty, right? Because in here, you're innocent until proven guilty. Supposedly, that is how we do it. So, yeah. Which I'm thankful for. I don't know about you. I don't plan on doing anything that would test that theory, but no. Okay, so now we've got this. Why do they all say they live stream? We're going to answer it now. And you are right, Feisty. It's for education. They all want people to be educated. Judge Boyd and Judge Simpson have both said everybody needs to come down to the courtroom, bring a lunch, sit outside the courtroom and have your lunch when you need to, but just spend the day watching cases and seeing how our system works. It's fascinating when you really start paying attention, like the fact that they can only ask questions. You can't just start rambling on for a story. You have to be asked a question to be able to give that answer. I've learned why you want to shut up in court and stop talking and let your attorney do it. Good night. It does make a difference. It'll literally be the difference between jail and no jail. And I'm not a jail fan being in that place. So I'm not talking. Even if it looks like it would help me, I'm not talking. What about you? What do you think about all that? Because I think it's really interesting. All right, next question. Judge Boyd says that children are this. All right, for 50,000 points, what does Judge Boyd say the children are? What do you get for 50,000 points? Oh, Dave, are you awake? Derek needs to go to bed. Yep, our son needs to go to bed. He's driving her crazy. I'm on it. All right, I need Mr. Hardy to come. Paging Mr. Hardy to the studio. Paging Mr. Hardy to the studio. I'm telling my kid to come on our live. I'm going to talk to my kids right here from the live. That sounds like fun. I've never done that before. Why not? All right. Yep, because my son was supposed to leave my daughter because she's not feeling good, and he's not supposed to be in there more than a few minutes, and there he is. All right. Hey, he was supposed to go to bed 9:15.
Oh, well, he asked me if he could watch one more episode.
Well, he cannot because he's not supposed to be with her that long. He already knows that. He can. We're not yelling though. We're talking gently. We're talking gently.
You're supposed to be in bed at 9:15.
Okay. Oh my God. Parenting from a live stream. If he clears all the dishes, he gets 15 extra minutes in bed quietly with no screens and a book.
Let's go with these. Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. That was like a Three Stooges sound. Did you hear it? All right. Anyway, Judge Boyd says that children are like what? What does she say they're like? Well, my children aren't like this. She's not talking about that. When she says this, she's not saying that children aren't great. She thinks children are great. If you are, however, a single mother and you are bringing men in and out of the house, that's when she's talking about this, okay? Not just children in general are this, but you need to think about them this way if you're going to have strangers in and out of the house. And I'll tell you why after we answer the question. But what does she say that they're like in this context? Okay. She worked as a judge doing like with a lot of CPS cases and stuff, and she's seen a lot of stuff. Her mom was a great mom. Her mom worked full time. Her grandma helped take care of her and her brothers. She had two brothers. She has two brothers, and she saw firsthand what it was like to have a parent that works, because her mom had to work. She loved her mom. She never begrudged her mom for working, but she decided, if I'm going to work full time and I'm going to go all in on my career, I'm not having kids. So there we go. But she loves them. She wants to do what's best for them. And she says, children are like suitcases. Why does Judge Boyd say that children are like suitcases? Well, here's why. And it's when you're a single parent, though. Okay, not all children, whatever, but children are like suitcases. So you're a single parent, you got a child. It's like it's baggage. It is. I mean, I love kids. Mwah, I love you. I love you. It's not a bad thing because she's trying to protect the children. So hear that. Some people are offended by this. It's not offensive because this is what happens. Did you know? I didn't know that this happened because whatever. I was a single mom. I didn't do this. People that are single parents leave their kids alone, first of all, go out and party. All right. Then they come home with whoever they met that night. They bring them home. And then you know what they do? They leave the next morning to go to work and leave this strange dude with their kids. So how are kids like suitcases? Well, because either the guy's like, get rid of the kid, which some parents do, or they're like, hey, I like this suitcase. Yeah, you don't want that either. That's much, much worse. So don't bring strangers around and have them babysit your kids. What is that? No, no, no. When you're a single parent and you're dating, that person isn't coming by your kids till you know that it's permanent. That is my soapbox for the night. Seriously, people, don't do this thing where you bring strangers in and let them babysit your kids. I don't care if they're men, women, old, young, whatever. Protect your children. And that's why she's saying they're like suitcases. All right? It's not that they're bad. Kids are wonderful. They are literally the future, and we love them. That's why we protect them. So there we go. All right. 2 more questions. Time's about up. Which judge on YouTube was accepted into Pepperdine University but did not go to there? Interesting. They went somewhere else. In fact, they got a scholarship to the school, still decided not to go because they had made a deal with their mom. And the deal was this: whoever gives us an acceptance letter first, that's who we're going to accept. And so they got an acceptance letter and they said, yep, I'm going to go there then. And they picked it. Then Pepperdine comes in, which is a nice school, by the way. It's in LA. I've been there. Actually, put a pin in that one. I saw the 1984 Water Polo Olympics games at Pepperdine University. True story. I still remember that. I cannot make these little red bubbles go, and it's just making me sad. Anyway, yeah. So she got accepted into Pepperdine, did not go because she had already made a decision to go to the first school, gave up a very large scholarship to follow the agreement that they made with her mom. Which judge was it? Good question. One of my faves. They're all my faves, so that's not really a hint. I said she, so that is a hint. YouTube famous judge, who's a she, got accepted to Pepperdine. You could blitz through all of the interviews and find out who it is. There's a lot of them, though. There are, and there's going to be more. So for those of you who just joined us, I am going to go to a bar association convention for an entire state in July, and I am going to interview the fire out of those people. You're going to have content for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're just going to throw all these interviews out here, and you're going to love it. You're going to meet all kinds of people, judges, lawyers, legislators, whoever, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I met somebody that was on the grand jury. That's a paid jury job. Did you know that? If you get selected for jury duty, there's a possibility you could be on the grand jury and get paid to come every week for a year. Did not know that till last week when our friend said he did it and loved it. Lots of child cases, though. That was the sad part. Didn't love that part. Anyway, our time's almost up, so I'm going to tell you because no one is guessing. It was Judge Boyd that got accepted into Pepperdine, but her and her mom had said that she was meant to accept the first letter she got. So she did, and it was Texas. And now the rest, as they say, is history. Now, last one. Which judge tells the umbrella story to teach people about choices and mistakes? If you don't know this story, I'm going to tell it to you because I love this story. How do you know if you've made a choice or a mistake? Well, let me tell you what. Most of the stupid things we do are choices. They're not mistakes. We know what we're doing. We call it a mistake so that we don't feel bad about it. We try to get out of the fact that we're guilty, but it is a choice. So this is the story that this judge tells. It goes like this. Let's say that you're sitting in the courtroom and you knew it was going to rain. You knew it was going to rain, so you brought your black umbrella and you set it down with you in the court and you watch some court. Then you get up to go. and you grab a black umbrella and you go outside and it's got someone else's monogram on it. Well, poop, that was a mistake. You knew you had a black umbrella. You picked up a black umbrella. You really thought it was yours. That's a mistake. But you get to court. You didn't know it was going to rain, and it is pouring cats and dogs out there. And you think to yourself, I really don't want to get wet and I got to go outside. And so you yank or yeet someone's umbrella. That's the word. And take it with you. That's a choice. You've stolen something then. And so this judge, that's the story that they tell. They tell it better than I do, but, I'm winging it here. This is what I got for you. So which judge is that? And we're going to answer that as we say, mwah, sayonara, and good night, because it is 10:15 and I'm a little tired. And it's been a long 2025, but a beautiful 2025. And on Thursday, when I come back at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to let you all know what is happening because there's something epic happening. That's part of the hint. All right, the judge that tells the umbrella story. Y'all, if you watch YouTube Court at all, you know that this is Judge Boyd. Yeah, we had a couple Boyds in a row, but I love her. What can I say? She's amazing. She's what launched this whole thing. All of this started because of Judge Boyd. And here we are, voices of justicing and talking to you, being here with the little red bubbles and the whole thing, and also talking to our friends from all over the world. Feisty Loves Cats is going to come on the show. We're going to talk about some legal questions in the next couple of weeks. Feisty is from Kenya, going to law school in Texas. Can't even wrap my brain around that, and I can't wait to have them answer all kinds of questions. And then you're going to get to answer your question or ask your questions too. So, mwah, I love you all. You are amazing. You just make me so happy that you're here and I'm here. Oh, let me tell you what. Glad we're back to court. No more other stuff, guys. Okay? So, Judge Rosie's interview is coming out to members tomorrow. Watch for that. To everyone else on Thursday. And then the new Simpsons coming out next week. And then I got another one coming the week after that. What? It's going to be crazy. All right. I got you covered. This is your place to find just new and exciting things. Get to know the people behind the bench. And I'll talk to you soon.